What's up, everybody? Just going back here. I don't think I did a review of my one scale I got, so I'm going to show up my old scale and my new scale here for a little bit of a comparison or so. I wanted a good scale for weigh-ins. First I started out with this health meter here. Really wasn't sure on the accuracy on it. Never know with scales. It's a health meter here. I picked up, I think at Walmart. Model number is, if it'll focus, HDR 743DQ1-41, and then D313BN, and of course it says not legal for trade. So it seemed pretty accurate. I just kind of compared it to the meat scales usually, and it was within a pound, whatever, but it's hard telling if the meat scale is accurate. So I went up and picked up my Rice Lake scale here, and I wanted a good scale, accurate. This is legal for trade. The part number on it is 140-10-7N. It's a class 3 scale. The accuracy on it is plus or minus 0.1, well, not really say accuracy, but the range of it is 0.1 pounds and 0.05 kilograms. That just says the able to weigh. It doesn't necessarily affect the accuracy of it. Now this scale, I took some calibrated plates and everything, just kind of test it out, see how close it was, and I figured this scale is fairly accurate since it's legal for trade. I weighed my Alicos and Rogue calibrated plates on that. Alicos were off just a hair. Weighed them on a couple different scales, and my Rogue caliber plates were spot on. So I feel this scale is pretty accurate. It's fairly close to the meat scale. Whether or not this is better than the meat scales, I feel that it is. So this is a scale I have here. So I'm going to do a comparison to show you the difference in, I guess you could say, accuracy of them in comparison, and see what each one weighs. I'll weigh some plates here, so give me a second and I'll get it set up. Okay, now for to work the health meter scale, you just tap it, it'll turn on, and then once it zeroes out, you'll set the weight on. So I'm going to give it a shot here, see how well this works. And this only comes up in pounds, so this weighs 43.8 pounds, if you can see it here. So 43.8. Now for operate the Rice Lake scale, here you just hit on weight. Now this scale, once it zeroes out, it goes through the setup or whatever. You can like put weight on it, come back, so it just doesn't need to be set. So if you're moving around, it'll kind of like show the different weights on there, because obviously you're putting more force on the pad. So this is set in pounds right now, and this is 44.0. So this is off 0.2 pounds. Now the way scales do operate on the accuracy of them, because you have a range of the amount that it weighs. This thing goes up to 600 pounds or 270 kilograms. Not quite sure how far my scale here goes up to. Probably not that high. I mean, it'll probably crack the plastic frame if I go up that high. Now, setting up here, and show the weight of myself or whatever. So this is a smaller weight here. I'll go up, weigh myself here. I'm weighing 199.6, and let me give it a try again, because I just weighed myself earlier and I weighed less, and I don't think I lost 0.4 pounds. So let's see, it goes again. Yep, 199.6. Now let's see what the Rice Lake scale says. So 200. So you can see the accuracy of those. I thought this was closer, but I mean, I'm off 0.4 pounds now. Of course, the way you set stuff maybe affect it, but this scale here has levels. I mean, it keeps on coming consistent. I guess this is pretty consistent too. I'm just curious why when I was testing it out it weighed a little different, but as you can see, this is coming up pretty close. So scale difference, this one's reading a little bit lighter here, though it's fairly close what it is. So for price wise of that, the health meter, I think it was about 40 bucks. I bought it a long time ago at Walmart, so I'm not sure. It seems a lot of the times fairly consistent with the other one, but I mean, that's one thing about the cheaper scales. They can weigh different at different times, even though it's the same amount of weight you're putting on it, like say the calibrated plates. The Rice Lake or whatever, since it's Class M, legal for trade and all that, it's fairly, I mean, real consistent time after time. Getting a scale calibrated is kind of difficult to do. I found out, like in researching it, gravity actually varies slightly depending upon where you're at. So if you get a scale calibrated in, say, Ohio versus California, it'll be different. If you move it across state lines or a different location, the calibration won't be the same. I'm not quite sure if it has to do with the elevation or, but I know like gravity is different around the world slightly. Funny thing is though, if we could ever figure out how gravity works, there's all these theories, but nobody's for certain on it. We can describe gravity and all that, but we cannot actually figure out how it works. All there is theories out there, and I'm not really convinced of any of them quite yet, but maybe we'll figure it out later. But anyways, the Rice Lake scale, I can't remember if I bought it off of Amazon or eBay. I think the price was like $350 plus shipping or so. I looked it up just a little bit ago. I saw $370 including shipping. Sometimes some places have it a bit more for $430, so definitely price hunt and see what you can find on it. But I'm real confident in my Rice Lake scale that it's real accurate, and it'll be very close. As long as the meat scale is accurate, they'll be identical. On the Arnold, when I tested them out, what I weighed on the scale was real close to what I weighed on there, figuring the amount of water I weighed myself from in the morning to like getting to the meat, taking another pee, trying to get a little more out, and drying off the rest of my sweat or whatever. If I sweated anymore, I lost like a hair bit of more water weight, so I came in right fairly close to what I weighed there before, minus a couple points of a pound. So I know when I looked around for a good accurate scale, the Rice Lake one here was one of the more affordable ones, and it had a lot of better reviews on there, so I decided to go with that. Now if you're wanting a cheap scale and everything, don't want to spend like $350 or more, then I mean this health meter works pretty well. Best thing to do to try to figure out if it's close, I used to take it to the meat or whatever and then compare it. Usually I'd have to come in a pound under or so just to make sure I would hit my weight or whatever. As you can see, this one's off a little bit of weight. So in comparison it, I try to figure out exactly, okay, how much is it there. Now depending upon where you weigh, if you are weighing 132 versus 300, the accuracy can change because there's that range of pounds. So something to consider. You just got to figure out, it's ideal if you have a scale like that or whatever, and you're constantly doing weigh-ins, take your scale with you, weigh yourself like right before so you know your weight on that scale, then see what the meat scale is, because generally they're more accurate, just to compare. That way you get an idea of how far it's off for what you weigh. So, alright guys, hope that helps or whatever in picking a scale. I got a cheap scale and a expensive scale, so something to look at. Oh, also forgot the rice lake I can set to kilograms, which is kind of nice too. So the other health meter, of course, you can't. So that's another thing to consider as well if you want it in kilograms, if you don't want to do the conversion. So anyways, thanks for watching and good luck.